All right, so this has got some glare to it, huh? Got some 180 sandpaper, and it's going to go across and hopefully smooth this all out. 180 is kind of heavy. Typically at this stage I'm into the 220, which sounds like a very similar number until you start using it. Anyway, but I want this kind of smooth, and it's really distressed wood. It's everywhere around all of these holes. It's lifted. It has lifted fibers. So I need to I need to knock them down. This is how I'm going to do it. You know, it's at this stage you realize that this really isn't as pretty as I thought it was going to be. Oh well. This is dark. Now I think I'm going to get some 220 paper and do the edge, otherwise I'll burn right through down to fresh wood, which will negate the whole sanding sealer part of this thing. Give me a break. I mean, give me a... Okay, I've got some 220 sandpaper, which is a whole different animal than the 180. It really is. Okay, and I'm going to go around this edge because it's dark, because I don't want it to be sanded down to bare wood. Okay, so this has been sanded, dusted off, and then mop a coat of varnish on it, because that's what's next. Some Tung Oil Varnish, probably 3 coats. Let me blow it off, and myself, and we'll get some varnish. Okay, so this is where we are right now. Um, it's I'm not going to stop, but it's like it's unhappy somehow. I've got some little flaws I'm going to clean up, and then I'll get another coat of tung oil on it. The back. Oh. Anyway, let's see what we can do. So, deciding what to sand this with, I'm going to sand it again in between coats. But trying to decide if I want to sand it with I think I want to sand it with 220. Yeah, because I'm done shaping it. Everything else I do to this thing is just I'm going to be doing to the finish. I'm not going to be touching the wood. It's all the finish. And the truth is, once it becomes that, you can go and sand it in any direction that you want, because the finish has no grain to it. And I think we're done touching the grain, therefore any effect on the grain is done. There you go. Caught a hair or a bristle down there. Yeah, we know that. I wonder sometimes. Okay, that's that. Around the edges, slightly rounding them, because there are too many bug holes in them to have them try to be square. They just catch on everything. So rounding the edges over is really important in terms of the bug holes. And, you know, bug holes are, that's the story of this piece. Anyway, all right. Now this is a good time to check to see if I screwed anything up the last time when I slapped some finish on the bottom and then immediately turned it over and put some on the top, hoping that it would not run. And where I'd see it, be right along the edges. And they look good. They had no lumps of half set up cross-linked tung oil on the edges. So I'm good. I'm good. And that's about it. Okay, gonna run off, blow this off, get rid of all the piles of dust that are in the pores, because this is a classic. Get rid of the dust. Be right back. Okay, all blown off. Brush du jour. Tung Oil Varnish. For those people who are trying to be socially correct, this is VOC compliant. And who knows what that means? I'm sure they know. Don't need that. Ooh, that's terrible. Okay, so here we go. This is you know, relatively light coat on the bottom. So I'm really not trying to impress anybody with how shiny or perfect the bottom is, because, you know, it's not. We'll do that. Good. Oh yeah? Get them out now. Nope. There it is. Oh. All right. Looks good. Oh yeah. Cool. Well, there's that. Looks great. And I'll do that. Good, 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 good. You know how YouTube is filled with people figuring things out and showing you how they do them for the first time. But I did, in the midst of this thing, I figured something out. Okay, I mean, there's lots of figuring out, right? But I figured something out that you should pay, if you're bothered by how the oil drips around the edges, then you should pay attention to how you put the oil on around the edges, rather than slopping it in the center and watching yourself put it in the middle and just running your brush from the middle out to the edge and deciding that that's good enough. To actually go around and do the edges in a way that makes sense to you. Yes, and just catching on to that. Thank you very much. But I did nonetheless catch on to it, and you got to see it. Oh. Well, this, as you can probably tell, has made me feel like I'm a comedian. This, I don't know, just, I'm going to stay with it because I'm that kind of guy. But, boy, it does make you wonder. I mean, there I was thinking, I can make that into something. And I'm really starting to have doubts as to whether it was worth it. It's not that I'm being harsh, it's just what, in my head, you can think what you want to think. But in my head, I'm stuck with, what part, let's do a test. Let's pick out the part of that I really like, and I'll see if that is enough to support the rest of this thing, the pieces that you don't like. That's how almost everything in life is. And I'm still searching for the thing about this that I like. Not that there isn't something, I just don't want to cut my path to success off that easily. Maybe I'll think of something really, really clever about what I like about this thing. Like, you don't have to worry about water getting in the inside because it drains out, or something like that. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. This is coat 2 of tung oil on top of 2 coats of shellac, amber shellac, 3 on the bottom. Light sanding, 220 again, and another coat of modified tung oil varnish, and that'll be 2 and 1 and 3. That'll be enough to put it into service. And we'll see. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. One more coat, and then gets stamped, run back to the house, and I do the big ta-da for my lovely wife. who puts up with all of this stuff. God bless her. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you, you know, maybe tomorrow. Could happen. I'm pretty sure. Boom. Huh. Well, I wasn't kidding. Here we go for the third time. Little bits of Pecky. First two pieces of Pecky were bristles from this cheap ass brushes that I'm using. Oh well. Well, it sure doesn't take long to do. I'm done. It's done. It's all cleaned, sanded, smooth. Now I'll get a rag. Yeah, not that one. Oh, this one's just as bad. I will blow this out because I've got pores, although not many, fewer each time because the varnish is slowly filling all of those little cavities, but they're still around. And there's a couple here. All right, anyway, so I'll blow this off so that I'll get all of the dust. And this will be the last coat. After this is just steel wool and wax, which is nice. It has a tactile illusion to it. Rubbing your fingers across this area right here, it's smooth, 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 smooth. But you get to this business right here, and it, because of the little dents in it, it doesn't feel smooth. It's just as smooth here as it is there, the surface is. But in between you get all these dents, and so you're touching it, it feels like it's not smooth. It's weird. I still don't think I like it. Anyway, so I've got another project to do. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set this aside until much later and work on this other project. And then just before I leave for the day, I'll give this a coat, and I won't be stirring up dust. I'm going to stir up dust for the rest of the day, but I won't be stirring up dust just for this. So that's what's going to happen. We'll put this aside, get to it in a little while. All right, let's do that. Okay, here we go. This is, keep our fingers crossed, the last coat of Tung Oil Varnish to go on this thing, and then tomorrow I can wax it and take it home, and you'll see what we're going to do with it. It's life throws you curves. Anyway, Tung Oil Varnish, I'm liking the stuff. Throwaway brushes, not so much. We'll see. Okay, trick here, right? We know the trick. Get the edge done first. That way all your issues with drips and overloads and things like that are done. Put it on some sticks, because I don't want as I'm doing the edges, I don't want the brush to touch this piece of Homa soap. I blew it off so it's clean, but it's still, it's got the fuzzies. Alright, so I've brushed this out. You can see what I'm doing, right? Brushing this out. So I'm getting the edge really, really well. It's not an accident anymore. I'm guilty as any for that accidental edge issue. This is on purpose. Now I'll get the rest of it. Now, it's not like I can't run my brush across it. I'm just not going to load it up and run it across it. That's the trick. Okay, and the question is, why are you fussing so much over something that really, you've just grabbed a piece of wood out of the firewood bin and declared that that's going to be the thing, right? It's because you should do everything like it's on purpose. You should do everything with a feeling toward some final quality goal. Okay, and that's that. And now down on the pins. There. Good. I only touched it on this edge. I will dry out my brush a little bit. I'm just going to go over that edge that I touched. Good, good, good. All right, now, once again, the problem that I've been having is a rollover on the edges, trying to do both sides at the same time. So let's go around and make sure the edges are good. Nice. Did you see that? I thought I saw a bristle. There it is. There it is. Right there. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to draw the whole surface. And now we'll do this. Done, done, done. All right, next time you see this, be wearing some steel wool and some wax, and I'll have a big grin on my face. Great. All right. See you tomorrow. Great. Just great. Don't we do good work? Okay, another day. This is all dry, set. All the cross-linking that's ever going to happen has happened. And it's time for wax. I'm going to throw some sticks down because I like that. And now I'm going to go around and wax the thing. This is, you know, the traditional wax on, wax off, right? Wax is my final finish, and in some respects it's also a lubricant for the steel wooling. Theoretically, the steel wool will make it very dull, but the wax keeps it from cutting too hard, theoretically. And it tends to produce a shine rather than just the whole series of dull scratches. Okay, that's it for the bottom. I'm going to go all the way around and then buff, because you have to buff after you wax. Well, in terms of general success or failure, we don't like the F word, but the edges came out nice and thin. There's a real thinness, a lightness to it. The ends are a little thicker. I'm a little afraid of the ends because of the grain, so I left them a little bit thicker. I like that in terms of safety. It's pretty thin. I mean, 5/16 and quarter, less, 3/16. This isn't, as I'm sure you know, one of my regular production items. This is an experiment. So, okay, now, hopefully I keep you in frame. All right, flip it over and buff. Pretty good. So, I don't know if this is in frame or not, but I'll be right. I'm done in just a second. All right. Okay, that is it. I'm done. This is the thing. So let's do some critique here. I've got some marks right here, some diagonal marks from the belt sander. I didn't follow up the belt sanding with any other kind of sanding, or with enough other kind of sanding, and so I left some scratches going diagonally. They're minor. This right here, if you remember, I made a miscalculation when I was doing the sawing of the side, and I cut a little deep on one edge, which I liked, but I didn't manage to hit that same amount on the second cut. So I've left a little shadow of a line where this is just a teeny bit thicker than that. Teeny, but it's there. And the amber shellac, which is one of my favorites, kind of let me down here because it highlighted that offset between these two surfaces. Not so much on this side. This side I managed to sand it out mostly. This side not so much. This right here, we've got a little bit of the router track right there that I didn't quite sand out. I didn't know it at the time, obviously, but I didn't sand it out completely. You can sort of see the surface of this is smooth-ish, but undulates a great deal and has all these over sanding marks around the holes. The big holes, obviously, I sanded in deeper in between the edges of the big holes, the wormy holes. So this has got a lot of surface distortion. It's sort of like made out of pudding rather than the crisp lines of pieces of wood. I'm not really a fan of that. All in all, I think that the varied bits of wood, heavily bug-eaten in places and not in others, contributed to the absorption of the colors of the amber shellac, and my attempts to even them out by sanding left me with a kind of a highly modeled surface. Dark here, dark there, light in between, light highlights. A lot of light highlights that I don't think really add to it. I'm not just being harsh because I have some problem with my own efforts. I love what I do. But it's, you know, when you launch into something new, that's the whole point of experimentation, is to analyze how you did and grow. Figure it out. Do better the next time. Know not to do it ever again. Come to the realization that there's another kind of use for this wormy wood that, I don't know. We'll see how this is received. Now, it's not just me. There are others. We'll see how others receive this. This is probably, at least in its next use, going to get covered with little teeny polished pebbles of granite and quartz and various bits of mudstone. And that will add a lot of other visual interest so that little bits of this peek through. Might be all right. Anyway, get it home. We'll see how it does with the others, and we'll get a kind of an idea as to whether or not we'll ever do it again. Maybe I'll show you a picture of it when I get it home. Could be fun. All right. Thanks for watching. Well, here we go. Finishes are on, wax is on. This is the final move here before I take this home, is to get my stamp of, I think I'm going to use this side. You know, there's always a question as to where to put the stamp, right? No. But I am wondering. I'm going to put it here. And this is the top, because I've got it marked with a piece of tape. And there it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. It's done. Stamped. All right, and just for the heck of it, I'll move that closer so you can see it. Do you see it now? Not really. There you have it. Thanks for watching. So here we are home. The tray is done, and what I figured was going to happen, we were going to use it for a display of pebbles. We've been polishing rocks, what with the pandemic, you know, cutting down on other activities. The rock thing has been kind of nice, and so the tray works out really well for holding some of our rocks and putting them on display. They're just little rocks, I know, but it's a nice little display technique. And we may make another one because it seems to work out pretty well. Thanks for watching. Good luck in your endeavors.